Hello Fretwellers and welcome back to MrMFretwell Plays Minecraft. And between the last episode and this one, I have managed to collect a bunch of nether quartz. We're not going to be working on the lab today, we're going to be working on something else, but I thought we'd kick things off here by actually showing off my resource run. So, there we go. Now that's a lot of quartz, and I also collected a lot of glowstone as well. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this quartz, I'm going to break it down with my fortune pick, and we're going to see how much we get, and from that we'll be able to determine how far we can go with the lab when we next work on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you the result. Okay guys, here it is. The giant tower of quartz ore. So I've brought all of the quartz that I collected and put it down in an 8x8 grid. Just like this, it's just 8x8, and then I stacked it up, so it's a stack per layer, basically, and we tower into the sky, and we're now going to proceed to cutting it all down with a Fortune 3 pick. So I'm not going to even time-lapse this part, honestly, because it's going to take way too long. So I will do that, and I will show you the haul that I get, probably more than these chests worth of capacity, before we move on with the rest of today's episode. So I'm going to get to cutting this down, and I'll see you on the flip side of that. Okay guys, so I cut down all of the nether quartz, and one pickaxe repair later, and almost ready for another one. This is our total haul of quartz, one double chest, and a little bit more. So that should be enough to finish this floor. But that's not what we're going to be working on today. I mean, I am going to finish the floor, but we are actually going to be working on another project today, just to kind of keep things a little bit different, and a little bit sort of not doing the same things all the time, just to keep it interesting. We are actually going to work on a project today, which is a little bit of a project that we started and then never finished. So I'm going to talk to you guys today a little bit about the Insomnia Gaming Festival once again. I went to another one, and we're going to be working on finishing up the branch mine project. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the floor with this. I'm going to gather some supplies for that, and then I will meet you guys over there. Why is it that whenever I want to get something done, it's always 2 or 3 days later before I actually end up doing it? Anyway guys, I'm back, and it's been a couple of days since that last segment you saw. And all I've done really here is kind of carve out where I actually want to add the sort of decoration to this mineshaft tunnel. Now, that's not all I've done, though. I have been doing some things. I took a trip to the mesa, and I got a bunch of hardened clay. Got a bunch of regular hardened clay, and some of the different colours you can get from the mesa. Also collected a bunch of sand from the desert that's next to the mesa, because we need a lot more glass for the lab. So I went ahead and grabbed that. But now I think that it's important that we actually work on finishing this project. And I haven't got everything I need for that just at this moment, but everything I do need is down here. So hopefully we'll be able to get that finished. We are on normal difficulty. I have been experimenting with a few things in test worlds lately. Just got to make sure that I am on the right difficulty there. Alright, so in here I should somewhere have some cobble. I do. So we can get a bunch of that going. And I'm going to have to make some redstone lamps at some point soon. So let's get started on this project now then. I do want to get my rail line back, as the levers are gone for the time being. And that's just until this is kind of all wrapped up. So let's take a look at what I was doing here. And I've decided I don't like this at all, so we're going to take that away with the whole stained glass thing. So we'll figure that one out. Just got a notification from DXTory to say that there's been an update. So Silk Touch pickaxe is what I'm looking for. That'll do fine. Still want to use the lamps, just don't want to use the glass, that's all. So let's get that back. And this. Can we get in there? There we go. So we'll pick up the lamp again, and also the lever. So we're going to put that back, and we're going to whip out the lever here. That looks better. Much better. And we'll do the same thing on this one. Ah. Okay, we'll put that there. Oops. Now we can actually finally finish this off. That to me looks better, I think. I don't know why, it just does. And now we need to kind of do this, if I remember correctly. And that should create 3x3. When I put this in, it does. So I guess the first thing we could do is actually put all the cobble in the edges here. I apologise for the bouncy screen. I hope you don't get motion sickness from watching this. There we go. So while we're working on this, as I said in the last section, there is one thing I want to talk to you about, and that is the Insomnia i50 Gaming Festival. I went again to i50, and there's not too much to talk about. I didn't record or take any pictures, as there wasn't really anything to record or take pictures of, honestly. It was a very low-key event compared to the summer one. But there was some cool stuff there. There was a lot of stuff relating to games and sort of indie stuff that was going on. A lot of merchandise. Jinx was there, the official merchandise for Minecraft. And I got myself a couple of little bits and pieces, but not too much. But I had a look. We arrived a little bit later, as there was no panels or anything like that on the day, because there was just simply no reason to. The event had a lot less people. Probably people weren't available. Minecon has just gone. So people have kind of been recuperating from that, I think, a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I went and kind of took a look around. And a funny story, but I can't share it with you, sadly, about what happened when we initially got there. Because the event was actually twin. Well, it wasn't twin, but there was another event going on next door. And I can't share what that event was, because it was an adult type event, and that's not appropriate for my channel. But yeah, that was on, and we got kind of confused as to where we were meant to be, but nothing that didn't get solved in the end. And that's all that I can say on that. But we got in, got registered, and all of that stuff, get the wristbands that you typically get for these things. And we got kind of settled in and started to take a look around. And at that point, the first place we actually went to was sort of the gaming halls type tournament area, and it looked very similar to the summer one. As in, pretty much exactly the same, just rows of people with the computers and whatnot, all kind of lined up there, competing. And we missed the Dota 2 final. They're winning a cup or something, but there were some other ones on in the afternoon. I don't know a lot of these games. I think the one I saw was Half-Life 2 tournament. I don't play a lot of these games, so I didn't really understand what was going on, but I thought it was cool nonetheless to see people who do know what is going on, and that was pretty cool to see. Just basically a big screen at the front with people competing, teams and whatnot, which you could see. And there's also sort of like live events going on in the main stage, which was usually people on stage talking and sharing gameplay footage. It wasn't a panel in the sense that you went there to listen to what they had to say. You went there and kind of got yourself a drink and sort of watched what they were doing on screen. And it was like team events or indie developers showing off their new game. And I did see a few games sort of reaching that stage where they're ready to receive Kickstarter or you know, getting ready for alpha and things like that. There was some pretty cool stuff on offer, actually. I picked up some leaflets and whatnot. I'll probably at some point, maybe in the next video, actually, or in an update or something, actually get all of these little leaflets and whatnot that I've got and put links to the different websites to check out. I will do my best to hunt for it for this episode, because it has been a little while since I actually went. It's been about a week, so I'll have to see where those things are. But I got a bunch of like leaflets for different games and things to check out, and I would love to share that with you guys. So yeah, I'll probably try and look for those and see if I can get them in the video description. And I got those from the exhibition area, so we moved on from the sort of tournament area and the main stage, because it was pretty quiet and there was not a lot there. And we moved into the exhibition, which was the busiest part. Understandably, there was little shops and whatnot going on in there. You could buy like old and retro games, retro consoles. I know that I imagine those of you who are fans or a bit older generation and are fans of the older consoles would have probably loved that. There was things going back all the way to like the original Game Boy and so many other different things that were out there. Nintendo 64, so much going on. It was really amazing looking back at that stuff. A large portion of it was actually before my time as well, which is probably even more interesting, honestly, the fact that to see consoles that were before I was old enough. Oh, now everything's coming for me. To see consoles that were before my time, really. And just amazing looking back on it. It's amazing, I always think, at least for me, looking back on it, how good things were despite the fact of what era we were. Because I looked at, there was some different consoles set up with like 90s games and whatnot set up on there, probably even older than that for some of them, and it was like, yeah, the graphics aren't that good, but the gameplay was there, and much of it is very similar to the gameplay we have today. And it's amazing, really, how far we were, despite technology still being in a very early stage. At least for me, I always find that pretty fascinating, looking back on it. And just thinking, these guys really had it sussed. But yeah, I mean, there was that going on. And places to buy different merchandise, t-shirts, and all that other stuff that they typically have. Should it be 4? I'm a bit concerned that it should not be. I'm confused here at the moment. I don't think I changed this, which is the problem. I didn't change it to the other side. I changed this one, but for some reason, I may have figured it out. I think it's because I didn't do this. Yup. So, yeah, I mean, back on topic with that. There was lots of different shops and whatnot to buy things from. And there was computer hardware places where you could buy gaming headsets and gaming mice, gaming keyboards, all of that sort of stuff was there. And they were also selling and demoing some computers that were there. And these are sort of high-end gaming PCs that are way out of my price range, way out of most people's price range, honestly. I actually saw a computer, and I wish I'd have kind of snagged a picture of it now, honestly. But I think if you go to the website Overclockers, you'll be able to see it on there, called the Supernova, and it was £10,000, which is above $10,000, I believe, if the exchange is the same, as I recall. It was just so expensive, but it had like literally everything you could want in it, and the parts were all the best that they could be. It was all hand put together, not machine built, and literally everything you could want was in that PC. There was 3 graphics cards in it, loads of RAM, if I recall. It had like 6 terabytes of storage, a 256 gigabyte SSD. Literally everything you could want, and I mean seriously everything, and it really blew me away. And the shocking thing was there was room for expansion. It was in a huge case, which you're talking about maybe £500–600 for the case alone, which I found quite shocking. Is that all I had to do, really? And I took all of that down, and all I had to do was put cobble pieces in. What am I like, eh? That still doesn't solve this, though. Interesting. Even if I did put that right, still does not solve this. I'll have to look into what I did exactly in order to put that right for sure. I don't know really what I'm doing at this point. I've just kind of gone a bit crazy with it all, honestly. Because that seems right, because we've got 3 here, which is equal. We're 1 too low, that's all. But yeah, I mean, I was impressed with some of the stuff that they had on offer there, and I would check out the Overclockers website you want to check out that PC, very, very cool stuff. I would encourage you to check that out. Probably out of your budget range, I imagine. It's out of most people's, but still cool to check out nonetheless, I have to say. And what else did I see? There was like little mini showcases and places where you could compete in free tournaments for anyone to take part in, and they were like little Minecraft PvP and parkour, survival games, and some other games as well that you could compete in. And there was also the Xbox Live Lounge, which was a new addition, where you could just kind of sit and chill in there, a place for parents to go and relax while their kids went wild, things like that. But honestly, I don't think there was too many small children there. I think there was some, obviously, but it didn't seem to be like Minecon was. Minecon had lots and lots of small children this year, but Insomnia didn't. It seemed to be more catered for not necessarily an adult audience, but a sort of older audience than perhaps Minecon was intended for. But that's a completely different story, which I'm not going to get into. But thinking about it and looking back on it, I really enjoyed Insomnia i51. Again, there's not too much I can say. I'm going on memory, and also I had, obviously, there was not too much there in the first place to really talk about, so yeah, I mean, hopefully, I'm looking into going to I52, which is Easter weekend next year. If you were in the UK, it's going to be at the Rico Arena, which is in Coventry. So if you're from the Coventry area, then it's probably a great opportunity to kind of meet people and have a great experience. Both of the festivals I've been to have had, while they've had very different feels, they've both had very good feels, and I think it's really magical to really go to one of these events, a gaming convention where, certainly for me at least, you can kind of mix and gel with people that do the same things as you, and that for me is really important. You know, particularly in the summer one, because then that's when I think a lot of the panels are there and Let's Players, and you can actually meet people and your favorite Let's Players and whatnot. And that, for a lot of people, I think is really cool, just to actually meet their YouTube inspiration or whatever. And I think the feeling is really magical, and especially if you can't go to Minecon, because we all know how difficult it was to get tickets for that. I would say that I've not been to Minecon, so I can't say, but by the looks of it from watching the Minecon live stream, it's at least on par, in my opinion. And again, I said this before and I will say it again, a big, big thanks to the event organisers and the people involved and the staff of Multiplay that organised that event, because it was very well ran, very well organised. You know, if you had a question, you would get an answer. Everybody seemed to know what they were doing, which is really important at an event like that, because you'll get a lot of people that can be a bit confused, because you get younger people as well. People can be a bit scared and things like that. So it's really important that you have people who are organised and prepared to sacrifice a little bit of their own time in order to help people out. So a big thanks to Multiplay and to everyone who was working at the Telford International Centre for just making the event that much greater, in my opinion. And that's all I can say. It was really cool, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to going again very soon, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner rather than later, that's for sure. So I think at this point, I'm going to wrap this up off camera because it's not very interesting. I just wanted to do something that was fairly easy while having a bit of a ramble and a bit of a natter with you guys. Now then, this doesn't seem right. It's not too far wrong. I just think I messed it up really badly that one time, and now it's going to be a bit of a pain to fix the whole thing. But we seem to be getting closer and closer. The torches are going to get replaced with, obviously, the redstone lamps. And I'll probably complete that for next episode. And at the start of next episode, we will kind of do a tour of this finished stairwell. And we'll go from there, I think. Next episode, I'm not sure what we'll do, because I do have the supplies. I need to work on the lab some more. But we may actually get stuck into another project next episode. There is the nether that needs cleaning up a little bit. And we also have pretty much everything else at this base to get started with, and I'm looking forward to kind of getting into some redstone stuff. We haven't done that yet, and I'm thinking about maybe starting some automatic farm concepts next episode. Either that or looking for a spot to start building the dark room. That's probably something else that I'll look into doing ready for the next episode as well. So we'll kind of be a bit of a surprise for you guys what comes next episode. So I hope you're looking forward to that. I know I am for sure. I've been loving every minute of this base so far, so hopefully that continues. And I have to say, one last note, kind of tying into what we've talked about, is I am really enjoying Minecraft at the moment. Probably more now than I have done in the past few months, and that's just due to circumstances and being busy in real life and things like that. And it's really good just to kind of play and have fun, because I've not had a whole lot to really have fun with lately, with various different things going on. And I think the Insomnia Gaming Festival came at the right time for me. I needed that little bit of motivation again to start work on moving forward, and I think that gave me the inspiration I needed. So yeah, I thank you for watching today's video, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next episode. And yay, I think I fixed it somewhat. I hope to see you next time. Until then, guys, see you later and have a good day.